Hi everyone, welcome back to Tech with Ria. So in this video, we will be talking about another topic in the Tricentis Tosca test cases section, which is known as TCP. Now TCP is nothing but configuration parameters. So I'll just tell you the simple definition of what this is exactly. So TCP in Tosca are like reusable variables, which is used to store and manage the data. Now, this data could be URL, usernames, or browser types. Now, browser types in the sense, as we all know that we can run different test cases in Tosca within different browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Edge, or any other browsers. So in order to do that, we need to provide a TCP and select the particular browser that we want to run the test case onto. So that can be done by TCPs across multiple test cases. So they allow for flexible configuration without hard coding data. So this just to tell you this one. As in our previous test case for login page, we saw how we uh, hard coded the value for username password, right? So instead of hard coding the values, like manually typing those values over here, we can create TCPs for these values and we can reuse that value in any of our test cases by using a syntax for that. Now the syntax for TCP is this one, CP of parameter name. So CP is configuration parameter and parameter name is the name for that parameter that we provide when we create a TCP. For example, if we are creating a TCP for any URL, then our parameter name will be URL and Tosca will fetch the value that we give inside that TCP for URL. So this was simple definition of what TCP in Tosca is. So let me just show you the key aspects of TCP. So the main key aspect of TCP is reusability and easy to maintain. So by using these TCPs in our test cases, it is easy to maintain the test cases as we can avoid hard coding the data and all. And also we can reuse this in different test cases within the test case section. And the data is dynamic. Okay, it can be changed whenever. So once you change the value for TCP in the TCP folder, automatically it will sync with the test step value wherein you have used the syntax for this TCP. Okay, so where you can create this TCP. So TCPs can be created on the main project folder like the tree folder on the test cases. We can also create them on the component folder like this one, and we can also create them inside our test cases like here. So simple way, we cannot create this inside our test step value. So simple way to check that is whenever you click on any of these folders, wherever this TCP here it's showing up, then you can create a TCP for that particular test case or test case folder. Okay, see, in all these places you can create your TCP. Same thing is mentioned over here. See, browser selection defining which browser to use like this one. Credentials, you can also store the username, password, or API tokens if you're working on API test cases. So these are the common use cases. See, hierarchy and precedence. Okay, let me tell you one more thing. So if suppose you have created a TCP on your test case folder here, and the same test case if you're working on your execution tab, and if you have created a TCP on your execution section as well, then this one will have the highest priority. The execution section TCP will have the highest priority over the test cases one. So this will override this one. So whenever you're running any test cases on this execution tab, it will take the TCP that you have created in the execution section. So the same thing is mentioned. See, TCPs can be defined at project, component folder, or test case level as we just saw. If a TCP is defined at both test case and execution list levels, the execution list value overrides the test case value. That means this will have the highest priority. So syntax is this one. I've already told this. And whenever you are working on any UI related test, you always have to have a TCP for browser. If you do not create any TCP for browser when you're working on any UI, so what happens is if you simply run the test case, it will automatically run on the default browser that is set up in your system or your machine. So in order to avoid that and to have your test cases specifically run on a certain browser, you have to set the TCP value for that. So let me just show you how we can do that in our test cases. So I have created a folder here, TCP demo, and I've added the same login page that we have worked on previously for our website, SourceDem, Swag Labs. Okay, so for example, let's just consider that I want to store this username inside a TCP. Okay, I don't want to hard code the value here. So what I will be doing is I'll just create this TCP in the test case level. However, you can create on the component folder as well as on the project level, wherever you are comfortable with. But for the time being, I'll just show it on the login page test case here. So when you come into this tab over here, test configuration, just right click over here and you will see a purple color box showing up with the name as create test configuration parameter. And there is a shortcut for that, like control N, control plus will also do the same. Just give a click on this, and here on the first tab you have to give the name to that parameter. So as we just saw, suppose you are adding a URL, then you will be giving a URL name here. So for now we are creating it for our username. So I will just give the value as username, and the value to that attribute I will add over here. Let me just copy that one, and I will paste it on my TCP as value here. Okay, so data type will be string only. So now what we have done, we have added a username with this value inside our test case. So instead of using this value here in our test step value, I will simply use the syntax for that we have seen just now. This is the syntax for uh, TCP. I'll just type it for you. So we will open the flower bracket. We will type CP of, and what was C? As soon as you write CP, whatever the TCPs you have created will list out here. For now, we just have username, so we will click on that and we will close the browser. So our syntax is correct if it is showing up like this. Now what Tosca will do? It will take the value for username from the TCP that we have added here. Okay. So I will just run this test case. Yeah, so here that will be shown once I run this. So it will take the value from the TCP for the username that we have just created, and it will enter it on the username on this screen. See, it has done, and it has clicked on login as per the steps. So our test case has passed here. So you can see the scratchbook as well. See, username value, we have used CP of username, which is the one that we have created earlier. So this is how you can use different TCPs. Now let's just quickly check how we can use different browsers for TCP. And the same way, when you go into the TCP over here, again same right click and click on this. And from the drop down you'll have these are the different TCPs that you can create, like whenever required, browser version, control framework, device name, DocuSnapper. It is used for screenshot purpose. And then we have Excel language. All these are different. See, mouse over, everything, mouse delay. All these are different TCPs that you can create and use onto your test cases. So now we will see with the browser. And in this drop down, we will have different browsers that Tosca works on: Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Edge, Safari, Android, iOS. Okay, so I will just add Chrome here. Okay, for time being. And now what will happen? My test case will run. Whenever I run this test case, it will open up in the Chrome browser and continue with the process. So this is how you can create TCP for test case section. Similarly, you can also create different test cases. Like, for example, you can also create a test case called URL, and you can provide the URL for your application that you're working over here in the value tab. So what will happen whenever you use this in your test case? It will always take the URL. So let me just show that to you. In the previous, here I have the value for URL hard coded, right? So instead of this, I will have, first I'll have to create a TCP on this test case. So let me just add a TCP here, calling it as a URL, and I will give the value this one, and I will also add a TCP for my browser, which would be Chrome. So now I will go to this open URL and I will simply use the syntax CP of see, now we have two over here, browser and URL for this particular test case. So I will use the URL one. So it will show you test case wise. So once we run this, it will open on our Chrome browser. Let's just close this and run this in Scratchbook. See, it has worked successfully and it has opened the URL that we have provided on our TCP. See, opened this URL. Okay, so this is how you can create different TCPs in your test cases. You can have multiple TCPs and you can use them like username 1, username 2, and based on your requirement, you can use them. So yeah, this was all about TCP in Tosca, and I hope this was clear. And if the video was helpful, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And do let me know in the comment section if you have any questions or doubts, and if we have missed out on anything, I will cover that up in the upcoming videos for you guys. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and bye bye, take care.